good morning, everybody, and welcome to Lakepoint Church, online this morning. And I'm not sure if Lakepoint Church has always been your home, or if you've just been worshiping with us online the past several months, or maybe someone just shared a little bit of this in their feed and you thought, what the heck, I'll just jump on and see what's going on this morning. We're glad you're here. We want to connect further. There's a simple thing called a digital connect card. If you want to swap names and give us something we can pray for you with, love to do that, get you a gift. But mostly, I'm just glad you're here for the last worship service of 2020. I know some of you are thinking here in the last week of 2020, good riddance. I couldn't have got here any quicker than we already have. But you know, there's something more for us today, as well as looking ahead. Today, you're going to hear from Mike Francisco. Mike Francisco is the resident church planter here at Lakepoint Church. If you know anything about Lakepoint, we got a heart for empowering people. And that includes empowering someone to start a new church in Oak Creek by the end of 2021. Mike and his team have been hanging out with us for several months, and they're going to be doing so through the first half of 2021. And today, you get to hear from him a little bit of what his church is going to be like and what his church is about and his heart for starting it, but mostly Mike's heart for Jesus and doing life differently inside of him. So I'm so excited for you to hear from him in this service. And I just want you to know that your generosity goes towards starting stuff like this. So many of you have been so faithful with your generosity, and we turn around and get to be faithful with supporting a new work like Mike's church. And if you've been following along with our special end-of-year generosity initiative, we're talking about things like building an orphanage in Peru, doing more local outreach in Muskego and Milwaukee. We have some new things we want to do with discipleship to grow people here at this church, and we also want to look forward to our future health. It's a $60,000 goal above and beyond normal generosity, and we're not quite there yet. So I just want you to know that in these last few days, up until midnight, December 31st, you can still pitch in on that if you want to. You can go to lakepointmosquito.org/give, and that's where generosity is taking place here in 2020. So hey, with all that being said, wherever you're at, on your couch, in your car, at the breakfast table, we're going to sing some songs and praise to Jesus right now. Let's lift our hearts up towards him together.
If the mountains were where you are, oh, how far I'd scale the valleys if you graced the other side. Oh, how long have I chased rivers from lowly seas to where they rise, against the rush of grace descending from the source of its supply. 'Cause in the highlands and the heartache, you're neither more or less inclined. I would search, stop at nothing, but you're just not that hard to find. I will praise you on the mountain. I will praise you when the mountain's in my way. You're the summit where my feet are. So I will praise you in the valleys on the sea. No less God within the shadows. and the heartache all the same. Oh, 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 how far beneath your glory does your kindness extend the path from where your feet rest on the sunrise to where you sweetly sinners pass. Know how fast would you come running if just a shadow me through the night? Trace my steps through all my failures and walk me out the other side. For who could dare ascend that mountain, that valleyed hill called Calvary, but for the one I call Good Shepherd, who like a lamb was slain for me. I will praise you on the mountain. I will praise you when the mountain's in my way. You're the summit where my feet are. So I will praise you in the valleys all the same. No less God within the shadows. No less faithful when the night leads me astray. You're the heaven where my heart is. In the highlands and the heartache all the same. Oh, oh, wherever I walk through, wherever I am, your name can move mountains. Wherever I stand, if ever I walk through the valley of death, I'll sing through the shadows my song of ascent. Wherever I walk through, wherever I am, your name can move mountains. Wherever I stand, if ever I walk through the valley of death, I'll sing through the shadows my song of ascent, my song of ascent. Oh, oh, my song of ascent. From the gravest of all valleys come the passions we call great. A mighty river flowing upwards from a deep but empty grave. I will praise you on the mountain. I will praise you when the mountain's in my way. You're the summit where my feet are. So I will praise you in the valleys all the same. No less God within the shadows.
So let's talk about Oak Creek. It is a rapidly growing suburb of Milwaukee. Oak Creek is a diverse community with people moving south from the city and others moving north from Illinois. In this location alone, in the center of Oak Creek, there are 2,400 new to Oak Creek residents in the last 2 years. There are at least 3 other brand new apartment developments being built. Hundreds of new homes and neighborhoods have recently been constructed and continue to grow. Every major intersection is bustling with new and thriving businesses. So why do we need a church in Oak Creek? We've been really encouraged and supported by the local pastors of churches here. At least a few have suggested that we need more than just one new church to keep up with the rapid population growth in this city. We know that significant life changes are opportunities to share faith, develop authentic relationships, and those we hope will lead to Jesus. And that's it. As a church, we plan to resource and empower you to live out your purpose and potential to make a difference in your networks and neighborhoods, because we believe that everyone should have the opportunity to do life different.
Well, welcome to December 27th, the last Sunday in 2020. I know for me, I wondered for a while if we were going to ever get here. But we have, so congratulations on making it this far. We're all online actually, so make sure you drop in the comments a hello, a good morning, I'm just rolling out of bed, or I'm sitting at my kitchen table eating cinnamon rolls. Let us know where you're at and how you're doing this morning. If we haven't met yet, my name is Mike, and I am the church planter in residence here at Lakepoint. My wife, Colleen, our 2 kids, and I are spending this season learning all that we can, soaking up everything, getting involved here, and being encouraged and energized to start a new church in Oak Creek in October of 2021. As I've reflected the last couple weeks on 2020, I started thinking about a trip that we took back in January. We went out to Phoenix, and it was a church planting trip at that time, just to take some first steps and to discover what that might look like for us. And it was a great trip. We loved it. We got to enjoy a little bit of the weather in the middle of January out in Phoenix. But when I thought about this trip, it wasn't the experience that I was thinking about. It was the realization that this trip, it took place in 2020. It actually feels in my mind like it happened a couple years ago. I mean, 2020 at times has felt like this year that's just gone on forever. Things that happened back in January, February, and early March, they seem like lifetimes ago. Maybe that's just me. Maybe you're more in that camp of like, no, 2020 has been really, really fast. Like, what happened to this year? It feels like I was just celebrating Christmas 2019, and here I am finishing up Christmas 2020 and about to step into this new year. I know sometimes I think that way as well. I think, man, did I do Easter? I feel like I missed Easter. Or I feel like I missed my bratwurst on the 4th of July. Did I have a birthday this year? Thanksgiving? Yeah, I did Thanksgiving, but holy cow, what happened to that time between Thanksgiving and Christmas? It felt like it was just a day or two. I mean, there's times this year where I will say to my wife, hey, can we do that on Thursday? And she'll look at me kind of like with this puzzled look, like, what are you talking about? And then she'll very kindly say, yeah, today is Thursday. And I'll have this aha moment of like, it is Thursday. What happened to Tuesday and Wednesday? You know, I'm still thinking it's Monday. This whole year has just felt so strange. It almost feels like we're in a Doctor Strange Marvel movie where time keeps getting reset and we get bumped backwards, then we get thrown forwards, and it just feels so strange. You know, I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't know what holiday is coming up next. I don't know how old I am. I don't know what's going on. And sometimes I sit there and I think, boy, I wish I could have a do-over on 2020. Anybody else wish that they could have a do-over on 2020? Or maybe you're in the camp of like, no, let's not do this over. Let's just keep moving on ahead. If you're wanting to do over on 2020, just let us know in the chat there some of the things that you would do differently or you would do over and hope for a different result. Maybe if you graduated this year, you're hoping for a do-over on that graduation ceremony or that graduation party. Maybe if you got married this year, you're thinking, boy, I would really like a do-over on that wedding because I definitely didn't have the wedding I'd always dreamed of or hoped for. Maybe you're wanting a do-over because your bank account has a lot less money in it than you were hoping it would have. Maybe you're wanting a do-over because you missed out on that promotion at work because you didn't do some of the things early in the year that could have helped you get it. Maybe you're wanting to do over because your kid is growing up so fast and you just want to slow down time and spend more of it with them. Maybe you're wanting to do over because you didn't put the effort into your marriage that you wish you had. Or maybe you just need a do-over because you didn't fill your tank well. And you're sitting here at the end of the year feeling worn out and tired, discouraged. Wherever you're at, whatever you're wishing for as we step into this new year, I know that there's something better. I know that there's something ahead of you that's just going to blow your mind. I believe in 2021, we're actually invited to do life different. And not just 2021, but from here on forward, I believe that Jesus invites us to do life different, to step into something different than what we've been stuck living in. I love this story in Luke chapter 8, where a man named Jairus and then a little while later a woman, they come to Jesus and they have these incredible experiences. We're going to pick it up in verse 40 in Luke chapter 8. And it says, on his return, Jesus was welcomed by a crowd. They were all there expecting him. A man came up, Jairus by name, and he was president of the meeting place. He fell at the feet of Jesus and begged him to come to his home because his 12-year-old daughter, his only child, was dying. And Jesus went with him, making his way through the pushing, jostling crowd. And in the crowd that day, there was a woman who for 12 years had been afflicted with hemorrhages. She had spent every penny, everything she had on doctors, but not one had been able to help her. She slipped in from behind and touched the edge of the robe Jesus was wearing. And at that very moment, her hemorrhaging stopped. And Jesus said, "Who touched me?" When no one stepped forward, Peter said, "Master, we've got crowds of people on our hands. Dozens have touched you." And Jesus insisted, "Someone touched me. I felt power discharging from me." And when the woman realized that she couldn't remain hidden, she knelt trembling before him. In front of all the people, she blurted out her story, why she had touched him, and how at the same moment she was healed. And Jesus said, "Daughter, you took a risk trusting me, and now you're healed and whole. Live well, live blessed." You know, I love this story, and I've been reflecting on it now for several days. I think it connects to us and where we're at as we head into a new year. I look at this story and I take notice of Jairus. He'd obviously heard about Jesus. He obviously was a person that was respected and had some sort of authority. He was the president in the meeting place where Jesus was coming. But he gave up, that sense of authority and that leadership position when Jesus arrived. And it says that he fell at the feet of Jesus. I have to believe that Jairus believed and trusted that Jesus was who he said he was. That Jesus had, in fact, healed people. That Jesus had, in fact, performed miracles. And Jairus believed in some way Jesus could heal his dying daughter. He probably was sitting there feeling this burden, this pressure, this anxiety about his daughter who was at home sick and dying. Not knowing what to do or not having the skills or the resources to do anything about it, he lands on his knees in front of Jesus saying, Jesus, come, see my daughter, heal her, perform a miracle, do what only you can do. And Jesus doesn't say, hey, get off your feet, get off your knees and get out of here. He says, okay. And he goes with Jairus to see his sick and dying daughter. Now, it's on this journey to Jairus' house where we meet this other woman, this woman that had been sick for 12 years with hemorrhages. And this woman probably had heard similar things about Jesus. She'd probably heard that he'd performed miracles. She'd probably heard that he'd healed people. And she knew, if I can just get close enough to him, maybe I can be healed. Maybe this pain that I've dealt with for so long will be taken away. And in this crowd of people, I imagine hundreds of people bumping and reaching out to touch Jesus. And in this kind of chaotic moment, this woman gets close enough to reach out and to touch the robe of Jesus. And instantly, she's healed. Instantly, 12 years of pain and sickness are gone. Instantly, Jesus knows that something had left him. And he's not angry about it. He's not angry and saying, get out of here, woman. Instead, he says to her, live well and be blessed. You know, I love that both of these people in this story, they're kind of at this point where they can't do it on their own. They've run out of money. They can't heal themselves. They've looked at doctors for help. But nobody can help them. The burden is starting to really weigh quite a bit on their shoulders. But Jesus, the one they've heard about, the one that's performed miracles and healed people before, they believe that he can do that for them. They believe that if I can just be in the presence of Jesus, my life can be changed. The life of my daughter can be changed. I can do life different if I am just in the presence of Jesus. And it's true. Their lives were changed because they were in the presence of Jesus that day. You know, I think that our lives can be changed as well. I think that we carry a lot of burdens as well. We carry burdens to be successful. We carry burdens to have some sort of value that others see in us. We carry this burden of wanting to find a purpose and know what we were created to do and what we've been made for. Unfortunately, we've come up with a scorecard that determines those things. Our scorecard, it might include having the right kind of grades at school or getting into the right college or university. As a parent, it might be raising our kids a certain way and seeing them behave in a certain way. It might be having a certain type of car, a certain type of lifestyle, a house with 5 bedrooms and 18 bathrooms. It might be having a certain job or climbing the corporate ladder. We all carry these burdens. The burdens to look and be perceived as a certain way. This scorecard, though, as we attain one thing and then another thing, it feels like something else is added. And we're always striving for more, chasing for more, always feeling like, man, I did that, but I've got to do something else. And it's this constant living in this need to do something else, to do something more, that it starts to really bear down on us. It starts to create this feeling of, am I good enough? It starts to give us anxiety and panic. It starts to call into doubt our value. And that's not what Jesus wants for us. You know, Jesus in Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30, he's got this incredible invitation. And I think it's an invitation that each of us needs to hear again. We need to hear it in the way that the Message says it, because it's life-changing, these words. Matthew 11:28 through 30 says, "Are you tired? Are you worn out? Are you burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly." And this is the invitation that Jesus has for us. This is the invitation to do life different. This is the invitation to erase the scorecard, to erase all the things that the world expects of us, and to replace it with one thing. To write at the top of that scorecard, am I trusting Jesus today? That's all that matters. If we trust Jesus today, if we receive this invitation to trust Jesus today, we're told here in Matthew 11:28 through 30, that we'll learn how to take a real rest. We'll learn how to be with Jesus, to be in his presence. That if we trust Jesus today, if we get away with him, he'll walk with me. He'll work with me. The burden won't be mine to carry any longer. If we trust Jesus today, we'll learn this unforced rhythm of grace. And if we keep company with Jesus, if we trust Jesus today, we'll learn what it's like to live freely and lightly. You see, I believe that we can do life different, and I believe that this invitation in Matthew 11:28 through 30 is an invitation to do life different. And to do life different is to trust Jesus. To do life different is to step out of the things that the world tells us that we need to accomplish. To step out from under this rock of feeling like, man, am I good enough? Are my kids good enough? Do I have the job that's good enough? Do I have enough money in my account? Do I have the house that everybody expects me to have? And to step into this one thing that Jesus has for us, trusting him. I believe that when we do life different, when we trust in Jesus, it's going to change not only us, but it's going to change the people that we love and care about most. It's going to change the people that we run into often. It's going to change our networks and our neighborhoods. It's going to change the way our news feed looks. It's going to change the way our social media feed looks. Because when we do life different, when we trust Jesus, the world becomes a brighter place. And now Jesus doesn't tell you, trust me and life will be easy. Trust me and your bank account will be full. Trust me and your car problems will go away. Trust me and your sickness will disappear. He doesn't say that. But what he does say is that you'll learn to live with grace, and you'll learn to live with freedom, and you'll learn to live lightly. You'll learn to live different. And I think that's what we all need. That's what we all need, especially as we head into 2021. Because 2020 has felt like one punch after another for some of us. 2020 has dealt us all kinds of things. Our kids are feeling the strain of being virtual and being in person and then virtual and then in person and not knowing what the next day is going to hold. We feel that strain at home of trying to manage work and being a part-time teacher. If you're a teacher, you've really struggled with the overwhelming feeling of, I don't know what I'm doing. And that's only a few of the things that 2020 has dealt us. But we need to be relieved of that. We need to let go of that burden. We need to be like Jairus and the woman and to say, you know what, God? I've been trying to do it on my own. I've been trying to provide for my family on my own. I've been searching for answers for 12 years on how to be healed of these hemorrhages on my own. But today, Jesus, I'm stepping into your presence, and I'm trusting that you have the power to do something miraculous in my life. And Jesus is asking you this morning, do you trust me? Are you willing to give up some of that control? Are you wanting to release that burden? Come to me, and I'll teach you how to live freely. Come to me, and I'll give you some grace. Come to me, and you won't have to carry that burden any longer. Imagine with me for a second if you start really living that way. Imagine with me for a second if you tear up that scorecard, that value system that the world has given us, and you just replace it with, am I trusting Jesus today? Imagine how your home might look. Imagine your marriage, what might change there. Imagine work. Imagine your relationships with your neighbors or your friends or your family. Imagine what school might look like for you or for your kids. Imagine what life done different would look like. And that's what we need in 2021. We need people to rip up the scorecard and to ask this question every day. Am I trusting Jesus today? When we ask that question, I know that we'll be able to do life different. Because we won't be doing life alone. We'll be doing life with Jesus. Are you willing to step out, to trust Jesus today in a whole new way? I hope so, because I believe trusting Jesus today is going to set you up to do life different tomorrow. Would you pray with me? God, you are a good God. And you've got this invitation for us that's incredible. One that relieves the burden. One that relieves the anxiety. One that tears up that scorecard and replaces it with one question. And God, we want to trust you. We want to believe in you. But give us that humility to be like Jairus and to be like this woman, to step into your presence and to believe that you have the power to do something miraculous, God. Help us to do life different so that others can do life different as well. We pray this in your name. Amen.
These are the days that we prayed for, the stirring Jesus, you're not done with me. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. And I see a wave of revival preceded by justice and praise. We're young and the old run to Jesus. Oh, and all the sins that held us back are laid to waste. Jesus, you're not done with me. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. Through all I've seen, I still believe. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. Never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. Never give up on me. I know. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. I know. Jesus, you're not done with me. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. For all I've seen, I still believe. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. Your love is never gonna give up. You never give up. You never give up on me. I know. Not done with me. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing. For all I've seen, I still believe. You're doing a new thing. You're doing a new thing.
Well, hey, why don't we all give it up for Mike and for what that message meant for us? Leave him some love in the comments feed there right now. Know that you're going to be hearing more from him throughout the year that's ahead. And let me also point to the year that's ahead. We're starting a brand new sermon series next week called Who Am I Anyway? This is the kind of one that's really going to kick off your new year. This is the kind of one that you want to share with one of your friends because it's about discovering who you are. Like, what's my personality? How have my experiences, my background, everything that's gone into my life up until this point, how's that made me for something? People carry the sense everything happens for a reason. And those reasons are God-given reasons. And that's where we're going to start January off with. Who are you anyway? Jesus has a lot to say with that. See you back the first Sunday in January, 9 or 10:30 a.m. in person, or 10:30 a.m. online. See you then.